Welcome to the Creating Wealth Podcast, where Kyle Curtin takes you on an extraordinary journey alongside renowned multifamily real estate sponsors and syndication experts from every corner of the United States. We teach you how to harness the power of passive real estate investing and witness the transformation of your wealth building strategy. Let's create wealth together.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Hump Day, Wednesday. That is what today is. Today is going to be a short episode. Just going to talk about 5 of the biggest tips that should help you with your investment goals. So there are a bunch of them, but I'm going to keep it short and sweet for today. Those being, number 1, the expected time horizon for your investment. Short term, long term. Number 2 is the rough expected return. Number 3 is the type of market. Is it more cash flow heavy, appreciation heavy? Number 4 is the class of property. A being the most turnkey, D being the most challenging. High risk, high reward type of situation. Number 5 is the value of your time, whether you prefer more active or passive. So I'm going to jump in super quick and talk a tiny bit about each one and then go from there. So when it comes to time period, my friends, there's different options, as far as, kind of how to get a good gauge of what you're looking for. I will actually start off by saying I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not liable for any investment decisions that you make. Always consult with those folks first. I'm just telling you about a couple different ways to skin the cat, a couple different options for each thing, that type of deal. So when it comes to time period, and everything is going to tie into each other, right? So you could either stick to, 12-month horizons, maybe go for some sort of promissory note, go for a flip, try to flip a single family, 2-family, 3-family, whatever. You could go to like build a property, do like build condos or something like that, which could take a while, maybe like a year, a couple of years type of thing, all the way to being active or passive in a syndication, which could be anywhere from like 3 to 10 years, of an expected time horizon. And it's something that you really want to keep in mind. The velocity of money, like you always want to keep it moving and that type of thing. Always having it working for you rather than not working for you, especially in the economic climate that we're in now with inflation and how expensive debt is. So definitely something to keep in mind is like, how fast do you want to turn your money? Number 2, the expected return. This one is going to tie into, especially, more the market as well as the class, in the next few as well. So, the common saying of high risk, high reward. Well, in a sense, that's something that you always want to keep in mind. So say, you're looking more in like Boston, cap rates are drastically lower, than pretty much anywhere else because that market is insanely expensive, especially from an investor's type of angle. So keep that in mind versus, potentially investing in a market, maybe more towards Central Mass, Western Mass, that type of deal. It brings the risk versus reward component in there pretty strongly. So just have your expectations be pretty aligned, with what you're looking to do and where you're looking to do it. And this conversation in itself is one that I used to have with buyers, when I was more on the agency side. This is one that I have now with, potential passive investors as well as JV partners. Because alignment in all of these areas is absolutely critical. You want to be on the same page as the other person if you're going to be working together in some sort of capacity. So yeah, expected return, you can't be looking for anything pie in the sky. unless, you're looking at more of a challenge. In more of a rule of thumb, the more challenging projects that you take on, the higher the potential monetary reward may be. So that's something to keep in mind, is like, how big of a problem do you want to try to solve that other people may not want to? Or do you potentially, you know, are you potentially more willing to take a lower return? Um, but have a lot less problems and maybe be more of like a long-term type of strategy, that type of deal. Um, Number three is the market. And I touched on that a second ago, but essentially you got, more cash flow based markets, which are less appreciation heavy. It tends to boil down to a mixture of more cash flow dependent markets, as excuse me, sorry, as well as appreciating markets being, or higher appreciating markets being, the other side of that coin. And then you're going to have a mixture of, the two of those sprinkled throughout, right? So Boston, for example, absolutely freaking not cash flow market, but Leominster, Massachusetts, he's a bit more cash flow centric. But generally speaking, there's going to be a lot less appreciation in there. So that's something that you definitely want to consider as well. Is the numbers may look better, the further away from bigger cities that you go, but the appreciation, it might take a while for it to get out there. So you better kind of go into, that project with that being in mind. Because you definitely, don't want to be caught with your pants down, in a sense. And you want to just be cognizant of which one you're more gravitating towards. Because if you're looking for appreciation in like Fitchburg, Massachusetts, that probably isn't the right play. But the, purchase prices, terms, cash on cash return may be a bit higher, and because it's definitely going to be more on the cash flow side. And I do say that in October of 2023. That may change, 10 years from now. Who freaking knows? Bringing that to number 5 is the value of your time. This is a very big one, guys, because that ties in very, very well with the rest of these. Do you want to take more of an active role? Do you want to take more of a passive role? That in being in tandem with the rest of these, different preferences in this type of world, is definitely one that you want to be aligned on before you do anything. So say, you don't have a ton of time, by any means, maybe, work like 40, 50, 60 hours a week, like maybe, you're a parent or, significant other, like that type of thing. Maybe you have a lot of life stuff going on. So something like that may not necessarily be the best option to try to go out and do a flip. On like your first time around and that type of thing, where you're going to be super hands-on. The other side of that coin, maybe, you have a high paying W-2 job, or, are in the real estate world already, like as an agent, as an attorney, whatever the case may be. Maybe, doing a house hack, like live and flip, or buying, potentially, like bigger properties and that type of thing. 3 families, 4 families, 6 families, 8 families, 10 families. Maybe that might be more in your wheelhouse. Or I should say more or less for probably like 3 to 4 families, not necessarily commercial. Especially if you're looking to self-manage. And if you are, check out the podcast that I dropped 2 days ago. If you haven't already. 5 tips for staying at home a lot more often. When you're self-managing your buildings. That one was a lot of fun to do. And I've done every single one of those in the past less than 24 months. But anyway, yeah, so you want that to be very top of mind as well. How much time do you have? How much time do you want to be allocating towards something? In tandem with your expectation of return, with your time horizon, the market, the type of challenge that you want to take on in regards to like A market, B, C, D market, that type of thing. How much time do you want to throw towards it? So this was a very, very basic jump into this. I could definitely talk a heck of a lot more extended about each of those particular topics, but I wanted to keep this one short. So yeah, I'd love to talk to you guys about this. Please, if you enjoyed this, please send it to a friend, a couple friends that might, kind of help them get started, in the real estate space. I'd love to talk to anybody about this that, wants maybe needs a little bit of clarity, or maybe looking for someone to partner with, invest with, that type of deal. I'd love to talk to you. Having your goals and your expectations strong before you do anything is an absolute must. You do not want to invest in anything until you're literally aligned in what the hell it is that you want, because there's a lot of different ways to invest. There's a lot of different asset classes, a lot of different types of roles that you can have within the investment ecosystem, just in real estate alone, among many other, types of vehicles out there. Yeah, happy to talk to anybody. If you could, guys, please leave a rating and a review on the show. Trying to share this with a lot more people, educate a lot more people. If you want to talk about this, jump in the Creating Wealth Together Facebook group. There's like 640 plus minus people in there, like today, which is wild. But yeah, I'd love to talk to you guys. Alrighty. I will talk to you in the next one, my friends. Take it easy.
That's a wrap for today's episode. We want to thank you for being a valued listener of the Creating Wealth Podcast. Make sure to visit www.creatingwealth.com to connect with us. Dive into our ever-expanding library of informative blogs. Get access to our private investor portal and explore a wide range of additional valuable resources. Stay tuned for our next episode as we continue to create wealth together.